Okay, if you chose card number 1, get Goddess Hecate in the crystal mica, Crossroads of Destiny. Okay. So if you chose card 1, feeling firstly drawn to these symbols and how they're going in the different directions. And then that center point coming down. I do feel like there are multiple pathways available to you right now. However, there is because I'm drawn to that as well, this kind of coming down point, there is a center point within you as well. And from that center place within yourself, when you're centered within yourself, listening to your heart, centered, you can then make decisions from that place to then decide your path. So from that centered place, there are paths available around you, and being centered, you can then make decisions and move forward. I'm also really drawn to the goddess's word, and I do feel like there's this message about re-owning your free will and your sovereignty. Like really re-owning it in your choices. Excuse me, my throat today. If you always take the same road to work or coming home from work, take a different one. If you always go to that same coffee shop, go to a different coffee shop. It really feels like re-owning your free will and your sovereignty of at any moment, at any time, you can make a different choice and therefore have new possibilities open up and have a different pathway open up. So really re-owning your free will. And it feels like with little stuff too. If I've always used the same toothpaste, what if I tried a different one? If I've always worn this shirt, what if I got rid of it? Excuse me. Burps are often confirmations of stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so maybe with a shirt you've always worn, you could do some patchwork on it or get bleach and paint on it, doing something different, really re-owning that free will choices. And I feel like also with the sovereignty, really reminding yourself that you are the creator of your life, of your existence, that you create your life. And I also feel like there's this message of how keeping in mind that you're not the only one who wants you to succeed. The universe, your spirit guides, your ancestors want you to succeed just as much as you want to succeed and want you to be happy and well. You are a part of the whole. Your well-being, your happiness matters too. You're not the only one who wants you to be on your best path and be happy and healthy. So keeping that in mind, that there are unseen forces that support you and want the best for you too. You're not the only one who wants you to feel better and get on your best path. I'm also really drawn to the imagery in the background, and I feel like there's this message coming through about it's actually reminding me of Stranger Things. I didn't finish the series. I think I only watched one season, but I feel like there's this message, this metaphor of the underworld, and this darkness and underworld imagery. I feel like there's a couple messages here. I think for one, keeping in mind and acknowledging that if you choose to incarnate on Earth right now, there's a lot of darkness. That is a reality. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of pain on Earth. This is Earth School. It's hard. So I think keeping that in mind of this is hard. I chose to come to Earth School, and there's a lot of darkness. There's also a lot of light and beauty on the planet as well, but there's a lot of darkness, and that's part of the reality. So I think kind of also acknowledging that. I feel like also there's this message about your internal underworld, your internal darkness, and needing to go through a period of time of darkness and going through the underworld, that yeah, I feel like there's a message of you are going through a period of darkness, going through a period of the underworld, and that's part of the journey. And I feel like also because that's really hard, something that can help, a mindset that can help you through that is having a mindset of like adventure and exploration. I feel like, yeah, needing to go through this period of time of darkness and underworld, of really facing your internal pain, your internal um, shadows, illusions, self limiting beliefs, trauma, really facing all of that and diving into it, you know, diving into that depression, that apathy, that chronic fatigue, that loneliness, that feeling lost. Yeah, I feel like there's this message of um, something that can help is like seeing it as an adventure and as an exploration of like these dark emotions that you're going through are like an internal underworld or an internal landscape that you can explore. And it's like, okay, how can I um, get insights? What are hidden gems in this dark underworld? So diving deep into these emotions of apathy, of depression, of these dark emotions, seeing it as an internal landscape and underworld. And what insights can you get from that, from exploring this underworld? I feel like also like having that mindset can give you some openness and like lightness. It brings some lightness and openness in your body and your heart, and that can just help make the journey more bearable. Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like really diving deep into those emotions and being present with those emotions and seeing it as that landscape, that underworld landscape. Um, and also, I feel like making art from this dark place, you know, whatever creative craft that you are drawn to, you know, making art from this dark place that you're in, whether writing, singing, you know, making art from these dark emotions as well to help yourself process them and move through them. I'm also like really drawn to like the circle around the crystal. So I do feel like there is a message too about how you are the center point of your reality and you are the creator of your reality. So I feel like keeping in mind the law of mirroring and how if you change just one negative limiting belief within yourself or just help heal one negative thing going on in your internal reality and your internal landscape, that then reflects in your outer reality, your outer landscape. Um, excuse me. And also, like, as you're diving deep into these dark emotions and like offering presence, that is healing, you know, diving deep into the depression, apathy, burnout, deep exhaustion, and offering presence is healing. And then that will reflect in your outer reality. So just keeping in mind, like your inner reality creates your outer reality, and diving deep within those emotions and being present with them helps create shifts within yourself, which then creates shifts in your outer reality. So yeah, I feel like keeping that in mind. I'm also really drawn to like this lava and this dark, this like fire underneath, and I do feel like there is a message of like a period of time of like burning stuff away, whether it's mindsets, whether it's beliefs, whether it's like an excess of like actual stuff, like really burning away and getting rid of stuff that no longer serves you, and also getting in touch with your anger and how your anger can be a creative, powerful force to help you move forward, to help give you the courage to move forward and to let go of what no longer serves you. Yeah. I'm also drawn to some of this up here, and I do feel like also guidance about starting to reach towards something that really interests you and climb towards something that really interests you. Um, yeah, just starting to take little steps and reaching towards something that interests you can help as well, can help you give you some direction as well. Just starting to reach towards something that interests you. I'm also kind of drawn to this symbol down here, and it's like making me think of a labyrinth. And so I feel like another message is about how when you think you're in the darkest, worst place ever, in the dead end, you know, stuck, it's actually part of the plan. Or like, you know, your guides, your ancestors are right there with you. Even if you're at a dead end, even if you are stuck, they're right there with you. Even when you're in these really dark places, they are there with you. I know that can be hard to believe. But yeah, they're right there with you, even when you're stuck or at those dead ends or in these dark places. Okay, yeah, that feels like everything that's coming through for group 1. Okay, if you chose card number 2, get Peacock. Okay. So something that I'm firstly picking up on, getting thoughts and imagery of that experience when, you know, someone's driving and you're in the car and you stick your head out the window and like the wind blows through your hair and blows through your face, and you just feel that sense of freedom and lightness in your body and your soul. Excuse me. You know, or like the sunroof is down and you stick your arms and your head out the window and just feel the breeze blowing through your hair, blowing through your face, and yeah, just feel that sense of freedom and lightness, and it brings like that life force back into you, in rejuvenation. So if you're feeling called to like literally do that, do that. But I also feel like there's a message about, you know, doing things that make you feel like that, whatever that is for you. You know, for you, if that's bowling, hanging out with a friend, cleaning, whatever gives you that sense of feeling of freedom and lightness in your soul, do that. It's amazing how like those little micro moments, you know, that could literally be 15, 20 seconds of sticking your head out the window, but it just feels like a breath of fresh air for your soul. Like you just a little micro moment of feeling some freedom and some lightness can restore some faith and some hope of like, okay, I can get through this depression. I can get through this. Or, you know what, there are moments of happiness. There are moments of enjoyment. Yeah, it's amazing how like, at least for me, those little micro moments can restore some of your hope of like, okay, I can get through this. I'm also really drawn to like the blue in the peacock's neck, and how blue is literally the color of the throat chakra. And yeah, I'm just really drawn to this blue in the peacock's throat. And I feel like there's also this message about self-expression. So I feel like needing to self-express more, get some of these thoughts and feelings that you're struggling with out, you know, these feelings of depression and apathy, express them, you know, with yourself, whether that's journaling or into a voice note, you know, or just literally out loud speaking to yourself, you know, express, get some of these thoughts and feelings out of what you're struggling with. That can help you move through it some, is expressing some of these thoughts and feelings about the depression or exhaustion that you're going through. And also if you're feeling called to share some of these feelings and struggles with someone else and get some support that way as well. But like really needing to self-express about it. I am also really drawn to the I. So I do feel like there is this message of using discernment of, because I feel like also there's a message if you're feeling called like to express to some people that maybe you've been holding something back, you haven't been sharing all your thoughts and feelings about whatever it is, you've been kind of holding back and not expressing. I do feel drawn to the I of like using discernment of like who and when. Excuse me. Burp for confirmation there. And also, I think also there's a message with the I I'm feeling is maybe keeping in mind and knowing that even if you have these conversations and express these things to some people in your life, maybe doing it with the intention of doing it for yourself, that, they may not understand, there may not change the situation, there may be really no outcome, but you're doing it for yourself to help yourself move forward. And also, you can be mindful of another person's feelings and how it may impact them. You can do it in a respectful way. But yeah, it feels like using discernment of like who, when, and this may not actually change anything, but it will be healthy for me to express these things to help myself move forward. So it feels like knowing that and keeping that in mind. I'm also really drawn to like the background behind the peacock. I feel like there's a couple messages here with this. The first is like, wait, actually, real quick, just want to make sure it's still filming. Oh, dang, it wasn't focusing. Well, oh well. I hope that's okay. Hopefully, I think it's better now. Oh well. Where was I? Yeah, okay, drawn to the background. I feel like there's a couple messages with this. The first one is asking yourself, is this the right environment or setting for me to self-express and be myself? Is this environment, this group of people, like-minded people who celebrate who I am and like who I am? And also, excuse me, burp of confirmation, LOL. Is this environment like-minded people who really celebrate who I am and like who I am and who like who I have, what I have to bring to the table? Or is this a group of people that, is incompatible and that they don't necessarily value what I have to bring to the table? I think that, I feel like some reflection on keeping in mind that, not every community or environment is going to value what you have to bring to the table. We all have unique talents, aptitudes, gifts, things that we're good at that we can bring to the table, but it may not be the community that values that particular thing that you have to bring to the table. If you're all about authenticity, and self-expression, maybe going to a corporate boardroom isn't the best place to find your community that values that. I mean, who knows? There could definitely be, a company or organization that does value that. Or if you're trying to get sober, and care about health and sobriety, maybe joining a group that's touring, facilities to learn about how beer is made is maybe not the right group to join. Or if you're really, a shadow work community that's into shadow work and internal work will value someone who is emotional and sensitive and does internal work. So yeah, just like kind of just keeping that in mind, of finding an environment and a setting that really values what you bring to the table and your unique gifts and talents and personality and so on. I feel like also, like there's a dual message with this. The other message with this is like at the same time, I really feel like developing some self-esteem, self-confidence, and developing like this resilience of, okay, even if maybe, having the awareness of like, okay, I'm feeling like maybe this isn't the best environment for me, or this isn't a like-minded group of people, this isn't the best community for me. like building some self-resilience of like, okay, I have the awareness that this maybe isn't the best environment for me. I'm still going to be myself. I'm still going to be myself and self-express, and then gently move towards and take action towards finding the community and the group that I do resonate with and that does value what I bring to the table. But it really feels like this message of like developing some self-resilience and self-trust of like, you know what, no matter where I am, I got myself, and I'm there for myself, and I'm not going to just abandon myself. Even if this doesn't feel like quite the right fit or quite the right community, I'm not going to just immediately abandon myself. I'm going to keep being myself regardless. You can be yourself with positive intentions. You know, I have positive intentions. I want to get along with everyone. But if it just doesn't feel like a compatible fit, that's okay. I'm going to keep being myself and then gently move towards a community or tribe where it is a compatible fit. So yeah, it really feels like building some self-trust and self-camaraderie and self-resilience of like, I'm going to be myself regardless. And how, you know, you can have good intentions as you do that. Like, I'm going to be myself and value what I have to bring to the table. And if it doesn't totally resonate, no worries. That's okay. And then finding a place or people where it does resonate. So yeah, it really feels like building some self-resilience of like, I'm not going to just abandon myself. I got myself. I'm here with myself and building some self-camaraderie in that way. Yeah, I'm also drawn to like two things. The ladybugs and then also like the crown. I'm drawn to the kind of, it looks like a crown on top of the peacock. And yeah, I feel like there's this message of like, we all get to wear a crown, in the sense that like, we all incarnate with a unique, special life purpose. We all have unique gifts, talents, unique stories. We all have aptitudes, gifts, unique life purpose. And that is that crown that we all get to wear, that invisible crown of your gifts, talents, life purpose that's unique to you. And wear that crown. You know, we all have our own individual crown of those things that we get to wear. And when you maybe get into these settings or environments, you're like, okay, I'm kind of having the awareness this maybe isn't the best fit. That's okay. I'm not going to hide my crown. I'm not going to take off my crown or unacknowledge my crown. You know, I can keep my crown on and just gravitate towards situation, like-minded people where it is a good fit. And same with other people too. You know, we're all meant to wear our own crowns of our own life purposes, our own talents and gifts. And then just gravitate to those places and people where it's a good fit. So you don't need to hide that crown or take that crown off. Wear that crown, acknowledge that crown. And if it's feeling like not a good fit, that's okay for them. That's okay for me. Naturally going then towards a place where it is a good fit, and same with the other people. So yeah. Oh, and then also with the ladybugs, I mean, for me, that often is about like prosperity and just good fortune. And like, I don't know, if you see a ladybug, to me, like when I see a little ladybug, it's like, I don't know, it's just like a little moment of joy or of magic, and maybe just like really noticing more of those micro moments. I feel like it kind of ties in back to that previous message of like, you know, those micro moments of like just sticking your head out the window and having a moment that just feels like freeing and light. You know, enjoy those moments and soak in those little moments to help yourself while going through your struggles. Yeah, because it also makes me think about the other day when just like after exploring a bookstore, I just was sitting outside in the sun and I put my phone down and I just had like, you know, a couple small moments for myself to get, you know, just tune into myself, be present. And I just felt how it's so important to slow down and be in the present moment. And that just kind of, that little micro moment, like just helped me. You know, there were still challenges that came up that day. There's still other stuff that came up that was challenging, but just those little micro moments, I think can help to really notice those and soak those in, because that can help like restore some hope of like, okay, I can get through this. You know, life can be enjoyable. It doesn't have to be painful and dark all the time. Yeah, and I'm also just drawn to like the blue border all the way around the peacock. Um, I'm feeling like there is sadness. There is definitely sadness, and letting yourself feel that sadness. Yeah, I do feel a message of letting yourself feel that sadness, be in that sadness, so then you can move through it. Um, yeah, because what you resist persists. So letting yourself feel that sadness, going into that sadness, journaling about it, self-expressing about that sadness, really being unconditionally present and feeling the sensations of sadness in your body and letting yourself move through it. Then when you give yourself that time and space to really be in the sadness, like really be in it and move through it, you then naturally arrive at a place where like, okay, now I'm feeling called to go for a walk, or I'm feeling called to call that friend, or I'm feeling called to, try going to that club, that group club meeting that I was thinking about. I feel like as you move through the sadness and let yourself process it, you naturally move through it and naturally arrive at another step of like, okay, now I'm feeling ready to take action and move in a new direction. But that is only after like really being with the sadness. So, yeah. Okay, that feels like what's coming through. I hope this helps. Yeah. Hope this helps. Bye for now.